You can breathe. You can breathe. You can breathe.
Welcome to another episode of Lost or Found here on Horror Fiend TV. A little confession to make. Originally, I was supposed to do M. Night Shyamalan's The Visit, but it's kind of not streaming right now unless you got to pay for it. And honestly, I wanted to do a film where you can actually watch free unless you have subscriptions. But, well, this one specifically, I stumbled upon. So I was looking for a film to do to basically replace The Visit for now, which I will eventually do later on. But I was looking for a film to kind of like fill the role. So I was flipping through Tubi, which is still the best horror library as far as found footage goes. So as I'm flipping through the channel, stumbled upon one called His Name Was Normal. Now, this is an international film, which this guy here loves international films. Now, you mix in found footage. Well, I'm hoping this was a gem. Is the ironic thing about this film is that it was actually filmed by a family. Mark Andrew Bowers, who directed the film, also plays, well, Mark, the father. Marcella Cardenas, who in the film goes by the name of Diana, and Marcella, well, she played the mom in this film. And Mia Bowers played the child actor, and what a tremendous job she did. And shout out to Romeo, the dog, for his portrayal of, well, a dog in this film. But what is the synopsis of this film? Well, you have this family who basically, after stumbling upon something, bringing it home, well, that begins this takeover by a evil, malevolent spirit who's looking to do everything possible to torment this family. This film was done in a different kind of way, but I mean, we've seen it before, found footage horror, fortunately. There's so many you could do it, but this one's interesting because it was done at the beginning of a narration of a police investigation into the disappearance of the Bauer family. So you had 14 images, three video files, one audio file, and a bunch of photos from the scene. So as we begin this film, the first thing we listen to is not only the narration, a little bit after that, you get a basically an emergency call about, well, Diana's distraught. She keeps mentioning something about the village. So when this film begins, we get this family who moved into this house, and well, they celebrate Romeo, the little puppy that they get for Mia, their daughter. Now, as the film progresses, we get to see the bond between Romeo and Mia. We get to see this family, and what I like about this film is the intimacy that there is about this family, us being brought into this film. Well, it worked well in this film. And Mia's character is such a, I mean, she just exemplifies the innocence of a child. And Romeo, I know he's a dog, but the scenes he has in this film are pretty intriguing. I like what they did with him. Now, we get to find out a little bit more about the family. For example, we have a scene where you have Diana Marcella with Mia discussing how she's going to take a pregnancy test. And she's hopes that reveals that, well, she's pregnant and they're welcoming another child into their family. This is where you get the whole scene. Diana's telling Mia she's going to be a great big sister. And, well, you kind of feel in the happiness of this family. Once again, this is one of the important things of this film is you feel like the authenticity and the realism of this family. And I did not know until afterwards that, well, it was actually family that did this, but that's something I did not know until I went to check on IMBD. But we get to see how they interact with each other. Then eventually they go on this hiking trip. Now this is where a movie takes a turn. Because I don't know about you, but if I see some weird ruins in the middle of nowhere, this guy ain't gonna go. Seen enough horror to realize, well, you just don't go to certain places where you're not supposed to. But lo and behold, this is the horror trope. Being nosy, investigating, and well, Mark leads the way. They go into this village. It's all like ruins of a village. You have a couple standing buildings. You have a couple that basically on the precipice of falling apart. So as Mark does what nosy people tend to do, Mark discovers something he shouldn't discover. He discovers this box which looked like it was actually buried. The minute he takes the box out, this is where things take the turn. Couple stones start falling. You have foundations that start, falling in this small village. And Mark, well, he dropped the box inside. Well, I'm going to go back for it because this is the smart thing to do. So they make it back into the house, and lo and behold, sometime after bringing this box into this house, they start having strange occurrences. So Mark begins to set up cameras, security cameras in the house because, well, he wants to catch what's disturbing the family. Now, this is one thing I'm going to say right off the bat. I actually believe that they were going to do some kind of CGI or show whatever this thing was. I'm glad they did. And this is one of the things I enjoyed about the film that they did. Now, the camera work in this film is, I would say, realistic to the point that it was almost amateurish, but at the same time, it's a found footage horror. You're grabbing the camera in the hopes of going through this experience with the actors and actresses and being as if you were there. This is the whole premise of found footage horror. So, this is what happens with this family. Mark gets engulfed in investigation of this box, but he also wants to film to find out what exactly is tormenting his family. Diana, well, Diana seems to be the target of a lot of stuff that happens in this house. Now, she has her own beliefs. While there is a lot of religion in this film as far as praying and stuff, she goes through different routes to try to get this negative energy out the house. Now, right from the get go, once this presence starts making itself known, Diana wants out of the house. But Mark, being once again, let's investigate something we should be investigating, decides to look deeper into this box. He actually opened the box, and inside the box, well, you have almost like a skull and bones, but you don't know what it is as far as was it a baby bone, was it animal bones? You don't know. Now, before I go a little bit deeper into this film, this is where you've heard me say countless times about ambiguity in the film. Now, could it be used a little bit more? I'm on the border on that because while I do feel that some of the things I'll mention later, kind of gives you an idea of what this movie could possibly be about. Not knowing certain things, well, you kind of wish you did. So I'm a little torn as far as what side I stand on as far as ambiguity goes. So Mia, well, she befriends this spirit to the point not only she fears it a little bit, but she tells her mother that there's a spirit in this house that she wants to take her to the village. And of course, Diana, who's already starting to feel the effects of what's happening in this house, doesn't believe her daughter, and at the same time tells her daughter to stop playing with these spirits. Mark, on the other hand, who's always trying to prove there's a reason for things to happen, there's a simple explanation of why things happen. He sits down, talks to Mia, and basically Mia says, well, yeah, she's in the house. What does he look like? See, I say he there because there's a point in the film that you're not sure if it's a she or he that's tormenting his family. But she states, well, it looks like the devil. 3 eyes, 3 legs. Mark once again shrugs it off and acts like, well, it's her imagination because she's a child. Now, there are scenes with Romeo, the dog, that I love how they did his reaction to certain things. Because he starts off as a puppy first, and then you see him get bigger. And well, you see the bond between Mia and Romeo, which I loved in this film because it was a natural connection. It felt real, it felt authentic. And that's one of the things about certain films. You want to feel for the character. You want to become, empathetic for the character and the plight they're going for, because this family goes through a lot of crap. And as everything begins to intensify, there's a scene where, well, we find the name of this character, of this presence, called Mormo, or like Mia says, Momo, where she states later to her mom, well, you're all going to die. You're all going to die. And this reaction also intensifies Diana's descent into madness, and to the point where Mark goes, she's aging. I'm aging. We're aging in this house. Mia's getting bigger. Roman's getting bigger. But at no point in this film does Mark really want to leave this house, because he is so enticed into finding out what's in the box as far as some of the stuff. For example, there's coins in there, which he later does an investigation and kind of connects him to the Knights Templar. If you watch horror or if you're a religious person, you know what the Knights Templar are. I don't have to explain, but research, because you should do your own research too. I don't want to give you false information, but when it comes to Knights Templar, I'd rather have people do their own research as far as that goes. But as we watch the film more and more, we start seeing this whole family just falling apart. Mark doesn't believe things are happening. Eventually, he sees it for himself. Diana's just dying to get out the house. She begs for them to leave the house. And Mia, well, you kind of get a sense that Mia's life is really in danger. But as much as I want to go deeper into this film, as far as what happens, I'd rather have you watch this film. Because I honestly went and checked some reviews on this film. And, well, this film falls under the premise either you like it or you don't like it. Even though some of the reviews I saw that didn't like it actually said it's not a bad film. I mean, this film doesn't have a big budget from what it appears. The location I enjoyed because it felt secluded. It felt like it was just these three plus Romeo stuck with nobody to help them. And I think that's what I like about this movie even more. I love movies that are set in isolation, away from everyone. The closest thing to them was these remnants of these ruins, which in one of the scenes seems like somebody was there. But overall, I would definitely watch this film. So I'm guessing you think what I'm going to say, right? Now, this is a found, just enough to be a found, because I feel like there was a lot of things that could have been done better in this film. However, I'll be honest with you, I enjoyed the film. I liked the camera work because it felt real. It didn't feel like you had this family with a camera that has night vision. They're using a regular camera with the light, which basically sets this whole area of darkness around the edges of the room. Which, if you watch horror movies, that's the first thing you start looking for some reason. We always look at the edges of the room to see if we see something. They didn't show what the presence was, but you felt it throughout the house. These were the fact that this was with a family that did this film was interesting to me the more I looked into it. Because listen, I'm a filmmaker, and if I'm able to get my family to do a film with me, I'll be ecstatic and happy. But like I said, this film was interesting. It's currently streaming on Tubi, like I mentioned before, the home of some of the great found footage films, and some good ones, and some crap ones too. But great found footage library. Overall, yes, this is a found. Catch this film. I'm curious to see what are your thoughts about this film. Is it a hidden gem? Is it just right there of a hidden gem? Or did you not like the film at all? It did not have a lot of big budget special effects, which I like that. I like the fact that you feel something, you feel a presence, and not for nothing, you do feel empathetic for this family. Mia did a good job playing the child actor. I like Diana. Mark was, I'll be honest, Mark was a fucking prick. But that is your judgment to decide what you feel about. Overall, yes, this is a found. Like I said, currently streaming on Tubi. I'm glad I stumbled upon this movie. I read some things about it slightly, not too much, because when you go on IMDb and you look at the casting, well, there's not much, which almost makes you feel like the whole Blair Witch Project thing in a way, where they made it seem like, all right, these people actually filmed this. The film was found and they really disappeared. So I kind of got a little bit of that. Not to the extent of Blair Witch Project, of course, but the fact that the real names appear on IMDb. But yes, definitely watch this film. I mean, there are some slight jump scares in this film. I think a lot of it was anticipation. So you're expecting things to happen, whether or not they do happen. Well, you're gonna have to watch the film. But this was a fun film. I enjoyed it myself. Definitely watch it. It's a 2024 film. Its name was Mormo. Leave a comment below because if you're a found footage horror fan, I'm curious to know your thoughts of this film. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you think if it had a bigger budget, it would have been a lot better? The ambiguity of this film, did it work? Did it not work? I do like the ruins. I mean, I thought that was a pretty good setting. But overall, yeah, watch the film. Let me know what you think. And I will do the visit. I apologize. But I'd rather review something that you could watch. And being Tubi is free, you don't have to pay for it. So do me a favor, like, subscribe, share. Got more coming your way as far as found footage goes. Season 3 is going to be around the corner, so I'm going to be wrapping up season 2. A little gap of a break, but I have a lot of found footage horror films I have yet to talk about, and I'm anticipating some new ones coming out this year to wrap up 2025. So, till next time, this is GR Horror Fiend TV, Lost or Found. Catch me next time because I will be doing Beyond Our World. Don't know what episode yet, but I might do something interesting. And episode of Hidden Gems where I'm going to talk about Frontier, international horror film that gets really wild. So, JR Horror Fiend TV, yes, like, subscribe, share. Till next time, peace.